Welcome to this discussion on adjusting through transitions and ways to enhance coping. Joining me today, we have Tiffany Kasper. She's a licensed clinical social worker who specializes in anxiety, emotional and behavioral challenges, mood disorders, trauma, self-esteem, ADHD, eating disorders, substance abuse, chronic illness and pain, divorce, and other life challenges. Quite the mouthful. Welcome, Tiffany. Thank you so much for being here and joining us. Tiffany, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what your experience has been like working in your office and helping people cope.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of talk about coping mechanisms, both healthy and unhealthy. So when we think of unhealthy coping mechanisms, we're looking at, drug or alcohol use, overeating. I'm sure you see that a lot, Ashley. Procrastination, maybe even sleeping too much or too little, withdrawing from people, even self-harm. Healthier, coping mechanisms might be exercise, which I know that's something you really promote, Ashley. Talking about your problem, that's what we're here for as therapists, to help you work through things. Healthy eating, relaxation techniques. So deep breathing is a good one that I can think of. And using social support, even using problem-solving techniques.
Absolutely. And all of these techniques, or I should say, first, the different ways that you're describing those healthy coping strategies and following them up with really now, how do we actually take care of ourselves and really practice the importance of self-care within that?
So my clients would tell you that I probably talk about self-care until I am blue in the face. Like, I'll get eye rolls and, Tiffany, like, when am I supposed to even have time to practice self-care? Well, if you're telling me that, that tells me that is when you need self-care the most. Like, great tool for when you are at a low, or even when you're doing well, to maintain where you're at. It is so critical to have in place. Now, a lot of people probably think self-care is bubble baths, and I will tell you, it is not just bubble baths. It could be broken down into, different categories: physical, psychological, social, spiritual, professional. So, eating healthier foods, making sure you're taking care of your hygiene, exercising, making sure you're eating regularly, making sure you're hydrating, participating in fun activities. So that's really what physical self-care is all about. It could be psychological though too, so taking off time from work, using that PTO to take vacations, to spend time with family, participating in hobbies. Work isn't your sole identity. You should have things outside of there. Getting away from distractions. I was just talking with Ashley about this weekend. My husband and I, we went camping, and it was great to just unplug from social media. So maybe that's what you need. Learning new things, expressing your feelings in a healthy way. So maybe you're using art or journaling as an example. Self-care could be social as well. So spending time with people that you like to be with. I had a client who made a phone tree and called friends and family members, when we were in lockdown with COVID. Planning those Zoom chats, talking to your friends, even if you don't feel comfortable being physically in the same room. There are ways that you could still be social during COVID. I would say self-care could be spiritual too. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I have to go to church. That could be spending time in nature. It could be meditation. Maybe prayer is your thing. Setting time aside for that. And then self-care is professional as well. So saying no to certain things, not taking on too much, but also learning new things in the workplace and taking that time to build upon relationships with your coworkers, finding some sort of balance between work and the personal life so that you don't burn out.
Absolutely, Tiffany, I love this. And I often too refer to it as almost like putting pennies in your piggy bank of self-care. It's important not to rely on self-care only in the moments when we're feeling most stressed or when we feel like we need it most, but really to create that savings account so that we can continue to build that resilience when something is presented and when we need it most, to really have those tools in our toolbox to fall back on in those moments.